My name's Charisse. I go online by the name of Denkai. I sell needle minders. I make and sell needle minders, as you can see. And this video is me going to show you how you can make your own needle minders. Previous videos that I've made include a guide to the different types of needle minders that you can find. And I've also done a video on how to make needle minders with the wooden domino tiles. This video is how to make needle minders with the flattened bottle tops, which I know are quite popular. And so we'll do bottle tops, and we'll also do bezels. This is like a little bezel. You can also find little bezels like this. It is essentially a container. Is a bezel, and people put like resin in it, or sometimes the epoxy stickers, and that kind of holds the image and holds the coating. That's a bezel. So we're going to do those bottle tops and bezels. Yay! Right, for this you will need bottle tops and bezels. Surprise! You will also need an image that you want to seal to make your needle minder. I have a couple here. The ones that I'm going to choose are these nice little Parisienne ones. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how we're going to say it. And I've also got some little Français, little love ones. And what was the other one that I printed out? Oh, I love the little hearts and trees. So those are my images that I have. We will also need Mod Podge. This is the one that I use. As you can tell, a big bottle. You might decide to have another preferred brand. Whatever your choice, go with that. I use matte, but it has to be a water-based sealer and glue. That's what I use. A little paintbrush to paint it on. You'll need magnets if you're going to turn your bottle top into a needle minder. You're going to need magnets, and you'll also need some glue. I don't know if you can tell because this is rather squished, but this was epoxy this was E6000. Let me get this. Yeah, there's a fresh one. E6000 glue. And I have here, when I make needle minders, let me get on there. That's one of the bottle top ones I've made. I coat this, if you can see it, it's filled in with epoxy resin. I use this ice resin. It is jeweler's grade resin, and it sets beautifully. This is just the brand that I prefer, the ice resin, but if you have a type of resin that you prefer, by all means use yours. A little cup and a little plastic spoon for the resin, giving that a stir. I will also show you how to make them with epoxy stickers. Sometimes if you don't have resin but you still want to make them but just use the bottle top and the epoxy resin, I would say the finish isn't as nice, but if you're happy with it, then that's all that matters. So I'll show you how to do some of those. And I also have a straw, and this is to help get the air bubbles out for the epoxy resin. Right, that's it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to tilt the camera down so you can see where I'm working and things that I'm doing with my hands, and hopefully that'll explain it a bit better than me just talking and you not seeing anything. So yeah, I'll move the camera. Right, as discussed before, we have a selection of images, and I also have a selection of bottle tops. Let's have a look and get these out. Let me open this one out of its packaging. There we go. So we've got some black bottle tops, some kind of ruby red bottle tops, and I also have some pink, some red, and a little black bezel. If you can see on here for the bezel, although it is a kind of a shimmery layer of rhinestones, there is actually a lip there. If you can, I don't know if you can see that very well, but that's what makes it a bezel, that it does have that little lip that we are going to fill. As I said before, you can get bezels like this with kind of just an edge around there, and you just kind of pour, put the image on and then fill it. I prefer these little rhinestone ones because I just think they're so cute. So those are the ones we have. So we need images. If you're going to make the bottle top ones, you can buy images. I buy mine from Etsy. There's a couple of shops which I really like. But yeah, just have a look around what you want in the bottle tops. You can buy these. I buy mine online. Just look around for a good deal on you want flattened bottle tops. It's essentially just someone squashed your bottle top. This gap in here is an inch in diameter, and then obviously you've got like the edge just there, but you want to look for an image that's a circle, 1 inch. These are all 1 inch circles, and I'm going to go ahead and pick a couple that I like. Let's have a look. I quite like the little stilettos. Let me turn this around so you can see. I quite like the little stilettos. I think they're super cute. The little shoes, and the little tights with the scandal. So yeah, I'm gonna cut out a couple of these. I actually have a punch because I cannot cut in circles. So I'm just gonna punch out a couple of these. Let's get them. That's one. Yeah. Another one of that. And we'll get one of the tights and the legs. There we go. Got those 3 on that one. My other images which I have. Let me turn those around. You can see them. The other images which I have, which I quite liked, are these French ones. Lovely little lovies in the air, and the little couple kissing. It's cute. And the little heart one. So I'm going to punch out a couple of these as well. As I said before, these are all 1 inch circles. You can't see the border very well, so I'm just going to make sure that I get the image that I want on my little screen and pop that one out. And I think I'll do one of these lovies in the air, and we'll do a little love heart as well. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 3 more. I'll do 3 more of these ones as well. So I'm just cutting down so I can get closer to the image with my punch. So I'm gonna punch out this one. Cute little bird's nest. I like that. And I like this one. So make sure that I get as much of the image as I can. There we go. And one more. I quite like the little trees are cute. I don't know about that. In fact, I prefer this one down here. So I'm just going to give this one a bit of a cut out. There we go. That'll do. So we have images. And what we need to do now is just go around and check the circle of your image is completely circular, because whatever is on this image is what you're going to see inside the bottle top. Now, as you can see, that's got a bit of a tiny little rough edge, and that is something we'll be able to see, so you want to try and get rid of that. So just go around and give that a little Dum, dum. And as you can see, that's how it fits in there eventually. So I'm going to pause the video while I just double check all of these circles are really nice circles, and get rid of the, as you can see, the little scruffy edges there. Yeah, and I'll bring the video back when I've done that all. Okay, welcome back. Right, I have bottle tops. As you can see, I've cut out my 1-inch shapes. They're just paper. I've just resting them on it just so I can see how the design's going to be. These little bezels, they're actually just shorter than 1 inch, so I've had to kind of chop delicately around the edges just to kind of shorten it a little bit, but these ones are exactly 1 inch. When you get the bottle tops, you need to seal, you need to stick the paper to the bottle top, and you need to seal the image so that no moisture or water or anything can get inside that paper. What I generally do is I just do a little bit, just kind of covering the bottom of the bottle top, just a little bit on there, and I will also just cover the bottom of this, just both with little coats. You don't want to put a lot on because obviously too much glue is not good. You're just doing like a little seal. So yeah, so we've done the bottom of that, and I'm gonna pick that up and just gently with my brush just kind of tap that down so there's no air bubbles kind of caught and all of the glue is touching the bottom of the bottle cap. There we go. I think that's all done. Little dab of glue, and I'm just going to make sure all of the top's covered. And the key with these bottle top ones is to make sure that you do the edge. You do not want to miss out the edge, because if you do, water will get in and you'll get discoloration of the image. It's like if you've got a piece of toilet roll or kitchen roll and it's all nice and white and you just get a little bit of the corner wet, you can kind of see the change in colour, and you'll be able to see that it's there. As you can see, let's get that little bubble out. I'll hold this up. So yeah, you can see the image is stuck down. There's a layer of glue just on the surface and just all around the sides, kind of sealing that in place. Pop that little bubble. We'll do another one just to kind of show you, a little red one here. So yeah, it's just kind of just a thin coat just on the surface of the bottle top. You don't have to be neat, don't worry. Not at this stage anyway. Okay, little coat on the bottom of this bezel of the image there. Just going to pop that gently, and then I'm just going to push that down, make sure there's no air bubbles trapped, and the image is completely touching all of the glue. Another little dab of glue, and we're going to seal it around the edges. Make sure no moisture gets in, and then just seal it all over the top. Yep, I'll let that one dry as well. The bezel ones, let's use this one. I love this one, it's so cute. When you do a bezel, let me get that one that's stuck. With this, the bezel sides, there's not a great deal of side up there, so I have to be very careful that I get it all completely covered. You can get bezels with different width sides. Some, you know, some are a lot bigger and you have to be less careful, but this one is very, very delicate. It is literally only like 2 or 3 mil, just tiny little side. So I've just covered the bottom of that, I'm just going to cover the bottom of my image, just exactly the same as the bottle tops. Exactly the same as the bottle tops. Let's give that a bit of a coat. And we're just going to put that gently in there. Pick that up. Just going to position that. And make sure all the air's out. And it's fully meeting all of the sides. Be a bit more delicate with this one. I think that one's all set. Sorry, all positioned right. Let's get that glue off. And I'm going to give that a little coat. Yeah, as I said, you've got to be really delicate with these because the sides are only quite small on mine. I cover all of the outside bit. Just tiny little dabs of glue, and then I'm going to cover that was not supposed to happen. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, slight camera malfunction. Yeah, my camera fell. It's very precariously balanced, just so I can get the right angle. But yeah, so I've just covered all of the sides and just sealed that image on there. Just covered the top. I'm going to let those dry. I'm going to do the other four. Other four? Yeah, other four. I'll do the rest. I'll pause the video, so obviously you don't have to watch me do it all, and we'll have a look once it's all done. Okay, we're back. They've all had a coat, making sure to kind of get around all of the edges. I'm going to leave them to dry, and when they're dry, I'm going to give them another coat. So we'll come back when they're dried. Okay, so as you can see, these have all dried. Yep. And yeah, you'll notice the image is kind of just a little bit bumpy kind of thing. Just check that there's no kind of white residue of the glue around, that it's completely dried. I'm just going to dip in and just give it a second coat. Like I said before, you want to make sure you get all around the edges. You don't want any moisture or water to get in there. And it doesn't matter if it goes up the side a little bit, that's perfectly fine. It dries clear, you'll never see it. There you go, so that's a second coat on that one. Just do that one. And make sure we seal it all around the edges. Okay. Cover all that. And I'll do this one. These ones are really tricky at getting it all covered. It's quite difficult. But like I said before, if you get the bezels with the wider edges, it's not a problem. It's just these ones in particular are a pain in my ass. There we go. I'm going to go and I'll do the rest and then we'll leave them to dry. Okay, so we've done a second coat. We're just going to do a third coat, just in the same way as we did the other two. Just clearing around the outside, gluing around the outside with the Mod Podge, and then just checking a little coat on the top. And there we go, that's had 3 coats. We'll do another one. On the outside. Don't matter if you go up the sides, don't worry. And go around the outside. A little coat on the centre. And that's had 3 goes. So that's had 2 coats, and we've just done the third. And we'll do the third on this one. just like that. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and do the other 5 left, and then we'll come back when I've done that and when they've dried, and then we'll get ready to do the resining. So we'll be back. Okay, so I've left these overnight. As you can see, there's none of the glue left in the little ridge there between the image and the outside of the bottle top, which is what you want. You don't want any kind of residual glue there, or you'll be able to see it, it'll show. So they're all nicely dry, looking good. Had 3 coats of the Mod Podge. So what we're going to do now, let's clear this out of the way a little bit, sorry about that. What we're going to do now, I'm going to do an epoxy sticker. I brought these to show you how they look. So I'm just going to gently, if you do use one of these, gently peel it off. Obviously don't get your fingers anywhere kind of on the actual sticker, or you'll be able to see. Just gently kind of put it on one side and then pop it in, give it a big press down just to kind of seal all of that glue and kind of bind to the image. So we'll leave that to stick on properly, and I'm going to show you resin, which is the way that I prefer to make my needle minders. As I said, if you don't have a lot of experience with resin, or you're not interested in using resin, then by all means use the epoxy sticker. I prefer resin because it gives, in my opinion, hands covered in glue there, a better finish. Sticking together. Right, so we'll do the resin. This is my preferred brand. It is ice resin. Part A is the resin, part B is the hardener. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to measure out 15 ml of part A. Okay, let me just do this. Make sure that's clean. Yep. Okay. This takes a while. I don't know if you want to put music on in the background or something, Mike. Especially as I'm starting to sneeze. I think I've got your cold. So, just filled it up to that 15 ml line. Now, I'm just going to add 15 ml of the part B, just to take that up to 30. Oh, sorry. It's Saturday morning, so they'll be like, what are you doing today? Right, we've got 15 ml of the part A, the resin, 15 ml added on top of part B, the hardener. And I'm just gently going to take my little plastic stick. I got the plastic stick and the pot in the pack with the ice resin, because I bought that in a pack. Or you can get packs available if you want them. Just gently stir. Try not to add too many of the bubbles. Bubbles be bad. We don't like the bubbles. So we're just going to gently stir it. As you can see, it's kind of gone a bit opaque, kind of cloudy, little shimmers in there. That's just mixing, just mix right through it. If you have a timer, I'd set it for 2 minutes, and keep stirring. I will pause the video because I'm sure the last thing you want is to sit there and, you know, see me stirring for 2 minutes. Yeah, just make sure you get everything around the outside so it's thoroughly mixed, and we'll pop back in 2 minutes. Okay, excuse me, it's been 2 minutes of stirring. As you can see, there are quite a few bubbles in there. Don't worry about that, they will go. I am just going to leave it for 5 minutes. It doesn't say in the packaging leave it for 5 minutes. Personally, I find it's just a bit of, you know, added kind of developing time. It allows some of the bubbles to kind of dissipate and for it just to get a little bit thicker and a bit more easy to manage. It's really quite runny at this point, which obviously it's the resin, you want it runny to start to be able to move it around where you want. Personally, I prefer just a little bit more control, so I like, you know, a bit higher viscosity, a bit thicker. So yeah, I'm just going to leave that for another 5 minutes just to kind of thicken up a little bit, and I'll be back. Right, we're back. It's been 5 minutes. As you can see, a lot of the bubbles have dissipated. It's a little bit thicker, which is what we like. Right, obviously that one's got our epoxy sticker on, so I'm going to leave that at the side. I've placed them all on top of this plastic lid. It's part of a plastic box, just a, you know, standard plastic box you pick up at any store really. The top of the box is where I place the needle minders, and the actual main body of the box will cover the bottle tops and the images and things once I put the resin on to keep it dust free. But obviously I don't want to have to move them when they're full of resin, and you know, so I just generally do it on here. It allows me to easily peel off any spillages and things. As you can see, like there's a couple of bits there just where a kind of little blob of resins kind of come off, and it just means you can easily pick them off later. If this was paper, then and I spilt the resin, I accidentally filled it too full and spilt it all over, I wouldn't be able to kind of peel it off and peel it off there. It would be stuck and the paper would be stuck, and yeah, it would probably be less salvageable. So I put it on a plastic box. I find that plastic lid, that helps. Right, you come, this comes with the little tiny spoon, or you can use like a lollipop stick if you wanted, just to kind of help you pour it on. I'll show you that now, and then I'll show you my preferred method. Here we go. Let's just get that. I'm just going to gently just dribble it on, maybe try and get around the outside a little bit. Obviously it's a little bit thicker, so you can do that. Kind of direct it a little bit more to the outside. Just gently. That's the key with the resin, is just do everything gently and slowly and build it up. If you put a big lot of resin in here, it's going to get too full too fast and spoil it. It's going to kind of coax it where I want it to go, which is over this side, to make sure that the entire bottom of the bottle top is covered. Obviously try not to go over the edge too much, because we don't want it to go all over. But there we go, that's all covered now. As you can see, there's some bubbles in that. Don't worry, we'll sort that out later. My preferred method is to use this syringe. Obviously it's an empty syringe, there's no needle. I always use a clean syringe every time. Last thing you want is to just add more muck, and well, add any muck to your resin. So I've just scooched up, don't matter how much because we're not getting exact with the measurements. Yeah, and I just gently press, and as you can see I can better direct the resin where I want to go, better control where it's going. Just my preferred method. There's no right or wrong, the stick is just as good. If that's all you've got to work with, it's not a problem. And I'm not pressing down now, I'm just making sure it touches the edges, and I'm just going to do the rest. I'm just going to go around, gently covering that, let that fill in. and I've just gone around the outside. I'll let the resin kind of reform the middle, and I'll just double check them later. These ones, because the bezel, the edges are quite small, said it was only about 2mm. I've got to be very careful not to go over on these. I generally just put a little bit in the middle. I'm going to work it on the outside. That'll be the same for any bezel really. You'll generally want to start filling in the centre just a little bit at a time, and just let the resin flow to the edges, but make sure all of the edges are covered with resin, that you touch all of the edges, otherwise you'll have a gap and you'll be able to see, and it'll spoil your creation. And just gently put it to the edge. There we go. I think that one's alright. As you can see, I did a bit of a scoop around the outside and just let it kind of fill in the centre. I do want to just add a little bit of a top up of resin just to make sure it is full. You don't want to, you know, skimpy resin on your bottle top. You know, it wants to look good, so make sure you've got enough but not too much in there. If you've got too much, it'll just come out over the top. Let me just do this. Little blob there, little blob there. We'll let them. This is self-doming as well. Basically it means it will kind of run until it meets an edge, and then it will kind of hold its position. It won't go over that edge unless you put too much resin on, and in which case it can't hold that anymore. But generally it likes to kind of go to an edge and then just kind of, well, self-dome, form a little dome, which is why sometimes you can layer it up. If you find, well, once we've done these, they lay flat. As you can see on here, this is flat, this is like a flat surface. If I wanted to, I could, now that it's dried, that was like obviously the first layer, I could add another layer on and kind of dome it up to kind of build it. I don't prefer that look. I'd prefer it just to kind of be flat, but you never know. By all means, you know, have a bit of a, let's put a little bit more resin on, but have a little bit more of an experiment and see what you prefer. So we're just kind of poking. I'm not actually adding any resin at this point. I'm just using the stick of the syringe just to kind of help meet all of the edges and things, which is quite tricky because the bloody thing keeps moving everywhere. But yeah, these bezels are quite hard to do. In hindsight, I probably should have got some easier bezels to show, but never mind. You know, if you can learn on something that's quite difficult, then I'm sure that, you know, easy bezels will be no problem for you. So I'm just kind of pushing it to the edge. Try not to go over my rhinestone. Obviously, if you've got some kind of decorative border kind of thing, you want to try not to touch that. There we go. One other thing you can do if you're dealing with resin is just give the top a tap, so you can see obviously from here, this point, this angle, I can see there's resin in it. I can't really see how deep it is, so just top the tap and just top the tap. Just top the top or tap the top even, and you can kind of see how much resin is on there. Is that going to be enough? Yes, I think these are all looking good. There we go. I'm just going to pop that to the side and bring out my trusty straw. This is a normal everyday kitchen straw. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to blow through the straw and direct my hot breath onto the needle minders, or onto the bottle tops and the bezels, and just onto the top of the resin. And the heat from my breath, you don't want any moisture at this point. Adding moisture to resin is not a very good idea, but the heat from my breath will kind of go over the surface and it'll pop some of the little bubbles. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. but we'll have a go. Remember to breathe, not inhale. You don't want to be sucking up resin fumes. Although, to be honest, this resin is very good and it doesn't really have any kind of odour or anything like that. But obviously if you're using a different resin, don't breathe it in. Right, here we go. I don't know if you can see these, but I just love that bit because it's just like pop, 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 pop. It's great. Okay, they're looking good. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to double check. Just going to get a little pin and maybe a little bit of tissue, and I'm just going to double check there are no bubbles, because at this point whatever you can see on that resin, in that resin, is how it's going to look when it's all set. So I'm just going to try and catch the light in different ways and try and see if I can see any big bubbles. Just like that. I think a couple on that one. Checking out those little marks. I don't know if that one was in the image or there's a bubble there. I'll get you. See how once you've got all the bubbles off, if I can just get that bloody bubble. Once you've got all the bubbles off, I cover it over with a plastic box and I put it to dry, and I basically leave it for about 36 hours. Usually after 24 it's kind of touch dry. If you just kind of touch the corner you might find it just slightly sticky, maybe just like you know, if you touch the surface of something and it's smooth, but you know that if you press in, you're going to leave a mark. Obviously, you don't want to press in. I find 36 hours and I can pick it up and handle it. It's no problem. It does say 3 days to completely harden. So I would maybe wait 3 days until you actually use it as a needle minder. But after 36 hours, we'll be handling it, no problem. And we'll put a magnet on the back and everything else. That's not a problem. Right, so I will cover it up with my box and put it to set. I'll show you a picture, or I'll insert a picture so you can just kind of see my setup of how I let it dry and everything, and we'll come back in 36 hours and we'll make them into needle minders. I'll see you later. Hi, welcome back. Right, this is just a bit of a recap on our bottle top and our Bezel needle minders. We've made them, we made the images, we've let the resin set for about 36 hours. 24's okay, but it can be a little tacky. 36, and you can push that bad boy and it's not going to move. Yeah, so fully set. I'm going to scroll the camera down and you can have a bit of a better look, and we'll discuss making them into needle minders. One sec. Okay, here we go. These are our bottle top needle minders that we've made. Scooch them over. This is still on the plastic tray. I like to keep them on the plastic tray. when I make them, just so the resin doesn't go everywhere. As you can see, the kind of image is set, and it's quite clear, crystal clear. Even when you turn it, you have to excuse my nails, I've just taken my red varnish off. As you can see, whenever you turn it, you get a really good, clean, crisp image all the way through. There's nothing in the resin, there's no bubbles, it's set very nicely. And yeah, that's why I prefer the ice resin. I love that one. You can compare them as well. If we compare this image and this one, if you remember, this is the one that we used the epoxy stickers on. You still get a decent finish, but I would say it's not as clear. If I turn this on a certain angle, see if I can get closer, and the light shines on it, you can see all of the glue that's stuck underneath. That kind of corrupts the image a little bit. It doesn't make it as clear as it could be compared to the resin, which leaves no kind of distortions on the image whatsoever. But it's about preference. If you don't fancy going through the hassle of all the resin, you can buy the epoxy sticker and just stick that on. That's not a problem. So yeah, those are the bottle top ones. Our bezel ones have set quite nicely in the rhinestone, the little rhinestone bezels, which I love. They're so sparkly and nice. Aren't they cute? Little boy and girl. A little love in the air, because obviously it's February. It's the month of love. I do have some examples of, oh my god, that went seriously wrong, to show you. These are ones that I kind of made at a similar time, and you can see that there's been mistakes. If you look on this one, if you look around the edge, if you can see, let me try and tilt it so you can kind of see in the light a bit. All of those dark spots are where it hasn't completely set, the glue hasn't completely soaked in. So when I've kind of gone round, I haven't been as thorough as I should have been with making sure that the glue seals everywhere. And you can tell on this one as well, there's a little tiny corruption there, little tiny absorption. And also, you can see a bubble in the middle of that one. Can you see it? Just there. So obviously I wouldn't sell these, and they're just to kind of show you guys that, you know, the things that can kind of happen. And you can see there that the resin just 1 second, sorry about that, it's half term and there was a 7-year-old that was just desperate to talk to mummy. Right, as you can see on here, the resin's kind of just leaked over the side. Can you see that little ridge there? Resin's just kind of come over, you can see. It's not a problem. Onto the back, it's not a problem. It does easy just peel off. If you wanted to kind of, obviously if you hadn't made, if you haven't, like me, let the glue absorb in properly, you might want to redo it, or that might be fine by you, you might not be bothered. But yeah, you can just kind of peel the glue away if you get your nail or something like that, and it does just kind of peel off the sides. It's not a problem. There we go. And you just peel the excess off there. Yeah, that's it. I want to show you this as well. You've got to be careful that when you do actually have the resin on, if you can see the edge of this, just there in that corner and just there, I haven't put enough resin on. So I've kind of done all of that, and it was getting to the point where the resin was getting quite thick, which is why it hasn't kind of filled out as much as I would have expected. It was about 20 minutes, half an hour after I actually originally done the resin, because I was doing so many over the weekend, that it just hasn't kind of filled out completely to the corners. If you can kind of see, so you end up with that little dip. So yeah, just be careful. I'd maybe go back after you've let them set for, well, once you put the resin on, just for about 20 minutes, half an hour, just to kind of double check that no bubbles have kind of risen to the surface, or kind of are a bit more noticeable that you didn't see before, and just that the resin's fully gone to all of the sides. Right, to make these into needle minders, let me get rid of the ones that we don't like. We don't like you. Don't like you. There we go. Right, make them into needle minders. We need to just put a magnet on the back, which is simple enough. I use E6000. If you can't tell, that's what that was. There we are, E6000. I would use some kind of nozzle. This is one that kind of came with the pack when I bought it, which, yeah, you need something basically to kind of direct the glue onto a small area, especially if, like me, you buy it in big tubes. Sometimes you can buy it in smaller ones, which are a lot easier to direct, but that, as you can tell, is forming a big blob of glue. And this is quite a small area and you want to kind of have a bit of precision. I use these, as I've shown you before, on the resin, these little syringes. They're not too expensive, you can buy them online, and I just pop a little bit of glue in there, just like that. There we go, and push it down with the plunger just to the end. So there you go, ready to go, and you've got a bit more control. So we will need to put magnets on the back. Generally, when I'm actually selling needle minders, or I don't know whether this is something you would like to do yourself, I put a fabric back button on mine, mainly because if this is a needle minder, you've got one on the back of whatever your the image is, or the bottle top kind of thing, and this one is going to go, your fabric's going to go there. Let me just show you. The fabric's going to go there. In fact, we'll just use a little bit there, and then your magnet's going to go on the reverse. And on here, that's quite difficult to get hold of unless you've got nails. So what I generally do is I sell them, or I use with fabric back buttons, because you can just grab them and they're really easy. So yeah, what I've done is just glued a little button on the back of there. Even if you haven't got the fabric ones, you can use something like this. This is one we made last time, just a normal button, and it just gives you something there to grab hold of. So when we make this into a needle minder, these are metal. Obviously the magnets are attracted to metal, so you've got to be careful, because when we put a little blob of glue on, you just want about that much, not too much. As soon as we put this down, you're not going to have a lot of time to get it exactly where you want. You're going to have to be spot on, because the magnet just straight there. As you can see, it's kind of just attached, and I'm just going to tilt it this way because that's the way I want it to go, and you just let go. You'll feel the pull when you're making them yourself. There we go. I just like to make sure that there's just a little bit of glue just on the outside, so I make sure that that's fully stuck. And obviously, as always, keep it away from other magnets, because if I put this big stack of magnets near that, just going to be attracted to it, and we're going to have a big massive ball of gluey magnet mess. So yeah, let's make some more. We'll just put a little bit on there, and we're just going to put that down there. I do love that. Look at that. Stilettos. Lovely. Here we go. And that's as easy as it is. And then we've got our 3 little rhinestone bezel ones. Going to pop a bit of glue in the middle there. A bit of glue on my fingers. Oops. Stick that down. I don't know, there's a bit of fluff there. Still keeping them all a bit separate. And we'll just do these final 2. There's one. Stick that on there. And that's the last one. There we go. And as I said, if you've got any buttons you want to stick on, what I would actually do is before I put these together, or even if you've done it and you want to make the backs after, you'll see when you do have two magnets together, obviously I've got the magnets on the back of these, if I push these together there's a bit of resistance and obviously they don't line up properly. The best thing, I wouldn't just make the backs and then just make the minders. You need to make sure that the magnets you use are actually attracted to each other like this, because there's no point in getting a magnet that's set on something that's not gonna have that pull together. So yeah, make one and then the other, or have them like this and then obviously say, right, that's going to stick to the minder, that's going to stick to the button, so that you know that once they're together they're just going to fit together like that. Yeah, there we go. I'll tilt the camera up one sec. And there you go. There's how to make the bottle top. I can watch that bit better. Bottle top and the little bezel needle minders. Yeah, there we go. So we'll just leave these to set. They've still got the glue on. We'll leave them to set. They're set in about 3 hours, to be honest, but I would leave them about 24 before you actually use them, just to make sure. Obviously you don't want to get glue all over your fabric and things like that. Yeah, so this set that we've made, there's obviously the 3 or 4 bottle tops and the little 3 rhinestone ones. Yeah, we'll give them away. So if you want to win them, just leave a comment. Maybe tell me what you liked about the video, or you can tell me the needle images that you like, if you have any kind of preferences. I know some people quite like the little cake ones or the sane ones, so yeah, just tell me things that you like about them, or which is your preference, if you prefer the bottle top ones or you like the bezel ones, or if you want to leave it yourself, you want to make it yourself. So yeah, just leave a comment and I'm well into you. International shipping is fine, it's not a problem, and I think that's it. Obviously if you're under 18, please get permission, because I don't want to send you something and get in trouble with your parents. So yeah, we'll pull the winner, we'll announce the winner, we'll do a random org thing, probably during the next update that I do, or the next needle minder video, about the 14th of March 2017, in case you're watching this in future. Yeah, I think that's it. If you want to see any needle minders that I've made, feel free to check out my website or my shop. It's an Etsy shop, Denkai Designs, but if you go to denkaidesigns.com in your web browser, then that will take you there. I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and the next one that we'll do in a few weeks will be on converting things like badges and brooches and things like that. So yeah, I'll see you then. Bye. Oh, I forgot a joke. How could I forget a joke? Oh my god. One sec. Okay, I'm back and I have the book, and if you watch my YouTube channel you will know why I have the book. This is an awesome dad joke book. So the joke for the video is, where does Tarzan buy his clothes? At a jungle sale. Oh, I love it. I'm gonna have to tick it. It's gonna have a tick. Right, I shall tick that one. Lovely. There we go. I will see you next time. Bye. Straight to hair.